boy, if he had just been able to stay healthy the last couple of years, you know what I mean? Then maybe he would be in a different spot. But maybe the reality is they just want to start Brock Purdy.
Willard as in Lillard, right? That's how I keep it straight.
That's right.
I like
Willard
that.
as in Lillard.
Dame Willard tonight on display.
Yeah.
7:05.
I gotta say,
let's
Mark,
go.
I'm a big fan of the show. Love your show. You gave me like a groin pull of the brain today when you said, I think you said, if you're a Warrior fan, you can't say the Warriors should have played Wiseman, and then also say you don't like the way the Giants are going about their business. I was like,
exactly. Damn
what?
right.
It's a mental
I said
groin
it.
pull. It's an MGP.
I said it. And I'm sorry that you're out for the year. I'm sorry that you Gavin Luxed your way to the office after that. No, the question is about, it's as a fan, what matters to you? Obviously, now should always matter. Now.
Right.
Like your team and the state
Live in the now.
right now.
Yeah.
But for some fans, that's the only thing that matters. Other fans also care about then, which is what are we building for the future? But it's fascinating to me how many fans I watch do both sides at the same time. They just carry it to different sports. In other words, they just want to be mad. Well, the Padres, $300 million for everybody, and the Giants should be jealous. They should be ashamed of themselves because who cares if it's not going to work 5 years from now? Now, we want now. And then the next sentence, we gave up on Wiseman too early. Excuse me, I thought you were all about now. James Wiseman's not a now player. Don't tell me 23-7. They don't care about winning there, and they lost by double digits to a bad team.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
What do we really care about here? Mm-hmm. And if it's just now, then who cares where James Wiseman plays?
I just didn't expect it to go that way. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just was like,
get him,
whoa!
Whitey.
Yeah. My head.
Don't have someone else do this business for you, Guru.
Hey, I love you all. Go get him.
Let's go.
He told me he was going in when I said, go get him. I had something for Whitey I'm going to lay on YouTube. Woo. Not YouTube. Shout out Joshua Tree.
What's up?
So this just came to me, man. Take the emotion out. It's Mr. Emotional saying that.
You can't do that, I'll bet. You can take the emotion out?
I did.
All right.
I'm about to give you my answer.
All right.
Who would, because you talked about it. They went and got Trey. That was Nordstrom's, not Nordstrom Rack. It was like, this our Ferrari. With everything that's going on, and as it is now, who would you rather be? Brock Purdy with the pending surgery or Trey Lance, make him dance, I'm healthy, in regard to who would you put your money on to be the starter? Because right now, this is no shade. I asked Whitey, has Purdy done enough to the powers to be to where they're like, go get that surgery, boy, and when you come back, here are the keys?
Yeah.
Or is Brock, who we move mountains for, more healthier?
I'd rather be Brock Purdy because
with the pending surgery?
Well, if he's having Tommy John, it might change things a little bit, but being Trey Lance is not a bad thing because, first of all, you're making about 5 times what Brock Purdy's going to make this year, and there's something magical about being the backup quarterback in that we all still don't know about Trey Lance. If Brock Purdy plays, Brock Purdy has surgery, he gets healthy, and he starts all 17 games, and they do well, Brock does well, we still don't know about Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, there's value in not being exposed as somebody who's not very good. And this is where James Wiseman is kind of up against it because the sense is the Warriors thought he wasn't good enough. Well, now he has to go out there and show either the Warriors were wrong or the Warriors were right. And Trey Lance is kind of in that same spot.
But
I'd rather be Brock Purdy to answer your question.
But you get what my whole thing is. If you want to say, Goo, you're crazy, Trey's ahead just because he's healthier.
But he's never.
And you could say ahead to what?
Well, what about, ahead of what? What are we talking
Brock
about?
Purdy. Because they go in and when they do perform this surgery and there's more months and more time that he's out, I mean, Trey's going to win it by default.
But
so I would take that over.
But that's a big if.
Yeah,
that's a big if.
So if with the elbow too.
I'm going to use what John Lynch just said. Actually, he just said you're a product of your experiences. So the 49ers, therefore, might have a little extra time on the QB market that another team wouldn't because they've experienced so many quarterback injuries in the past. I think same thing about you. You've come in here and talked all about all of the surgeries in your family that have gone kind of sideways or taken longer or whatever. Like, there isn't really any percentage thought right now to Brock Purdy's injury being something other than garden variety.
Brock Purdy's already proven.
I mean, you might be. It may be bad.
Sure, surgery.
Right.
Yeah, but he's done things already that Trey hasn't proven he can do yet.
Yep.
And also, based on what we know about his S2 cognition scores,
and
Dibs had that months. I love Matt
months
Barrows,
ago.
but Dibs, he texted me during a show I was doing to tell me about it. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if Brock went in there and did the surgery himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got that kind of S2 cognition skill.
I was like, what are you guys talking about?
Barrows feasted on my crumbs, and I showed you the S2 cognition
I'm familiar now.
during the break. So I think that it's a lot closer this week, in my opinion, your question, than it was last week because we still haven't had the surgery. And the reason why he hasn't had the surgery is because of an inflammation sensation in the elbow. So we don't know when they go in there, they might realize, hey, you need the full Tommy John. And at which point, this whole question is moot because then you'd rather be Trey Lance.
And Will, I hope it's not that. I hope it's not that, but that's on the table. How much? The odds, I don't know, but I wouldn't want to deal with that.
Like, and every day he doesn't have surgery, Trey Lance creeps closer to being the week one starter.
Well, and is the question, who would you rather be in terms of being this year's starter?
Exactly.
Not like the human being, the contract.
No, just this year's starter.
Starter.
Yeah, because I thought Trey was done. After that Dallas playoff game, I'm like, even if they lose to Philly, but Brock would remain healthy. This is your baby. But now I'm like, whoa.
I mean, if we're to understand what multiple reporters came away from talking to the 49ers and thinking, Brock Purdy is the starting quarterback of the 49ers. So, like, what if he's not ready week 1, but he's ready week 5? Does he just get the job?
Not if they start 4-0.
I don't know. I mean, what does 4-0 look like? Did you win?
Looks like 4 wins and 0 losses.
What about the?
But did you win 17-16? Because Jimmy Garoppolo won football games and you moved off of him. So winning is not.
You moved off him because he got hurt.
Yeah,
that's the only time you've moved off of Jimmy Garoppolo.
No, you drafted a new player.
I believe because of durability.
You moved off of Jimmy because Jimmy couldn't win in the spot where you needed him to win. And that's,
Or stay healthy. I think Jimmy lost his job more so. I mean, it was a combo.
Yeah.
But it was more so he couldn't stay healthy.
I mean.
The amazing thing about Kyle Shanahan and quarterbacks, offensive genius, however you want. He's a great offensive coach, but he has a blind spot when it comes to picking quarterbacks. I mean, maybe he stumbled into it here with Brock Purdy.
Totally.
But all the guys he's gone out to get, this is going to be the guy, and it doesn't work.
The Purdy thing. Purdy has prevented what would be a massive conversation, which is if Purdy doesn't save this, you went from, I want Kirk Cousins, I ended up with Jimmy Garoppolo, I drafted his replacement, we don't think he can play as well as we thought he could play, and we skipped Tom Brady in the process.
And so you got it wrong.
You blew it. Like 5 times.
Yeah, he deserves some credit for getting Purdy, but let's be honest, they kind of fell in.
Purdy,
and I think Kyle's like, please, Brock Purdy, surgeon, please don't have it delayed. Because the truth will come out. And I'm rooting for Trey, who did not have number 22 at his disposal.
Well, I think the truth comes out before then, and we talked about free agency, which is just 2 weeks away.
Man.
If they go out and they sign somebody of the ilk, and I think you put Andy Dalton as the Mendoza line, if they go out and they sign a veteran who could be the starter in competition while Brock Purdy rehabs, that tells you all you need to know about how they feel about Trey Lance.
Marcus Mariota just became available today. Carson Wentz available.
Right. So if they go out and they pursue a quarterback of that ilk and they give a quarterback a multi-year deal to come compete, then they're telling you they don't believe in Trey Lance.
Carson Wentz, by the way, more attached to the 49ers season last year than we realized, not only because he played in the game. Well, remember, the story has come out that I think the team that came closest to trading for Jimmy Garoppolo last offseason was Washington. And then they chose Carson Wentz instead. And how'd that go? Speaking of messing up your quarterback decision.
He got hit at L.A. Coliseum against the Rams before they moved in their new digs, Carson. And you talk about a career just...
He was about to be the MVP.
No doubt. He was
about to be the MVP.
And he's never... Now, I'm not saying it's not upstairs, but... Stuff changes. Whitey, the dude was a Don.
It does.
And now he's just
and I guess
Carson Wentz. Close your eyes.
Right, like cautionary tale with what we're all sitting here talking about right now. Like, is Brock Purdy going to just look like that all the time,
Man.
or is it going to change? I think that's the question that's still in everybody's head, especially because like the difference with Wentz was, what was it? Was he 1 or 2? Who was 1 and who was 2? He was 2, right?
Off, yeah.
Yeah, like he was expected to be fantastic. The number 2 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
And it looked great, and then suddenly it didn't anymore. Purdy is like not supposed to be great, so it's going to take us even longer to believe it for sure.
Yeah.
And it's always a
irrelevant.
byproduct of your draft year because all of a sudden that QB draft class where Trevor Lawrence looks pretty good and Mac Jones, you got to be kidding me. Zach Wilson may be benched, and Justin Fields. He's a good athlete, but
he had a great 6-7 week run last year.
Fields
I'm
right
not
now-
done with Fields.
Fields right now, if you're putting seeds next to those 5
Go
guys,
ahead.
Fields is 2. Fields is 2.
And why are we laughing at Mac Jones, who 2 years ago took his team to the playoffs in his rookie season?
he's got
Why-
maturity issues.
Oh, okay.
And,
I mean,
you might have seen his ceiling already in the first 6 weeks. Yeah, exactly.
He's limited.
It's a
He's
3.
limited.
Your high-pitched Steiny is pretty good.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco, always live on the Odyssey app. But yeah, right now, if you were like, let's redraft those 5, Lawrence 1,
No doubt.
Fields 2.
Okay.
I personally, I'll get ripped for this, but I personally would say Lance 3 because I think Mac Jones is a firm like C+ for the
Took
career.
his team to the offs.
Great.
But that's so hard that you're doing that. He
took
could be
Bill-
like, sir, at least let it happen
I mean,
before you give me that jacket.
Carried Belichick
Bill
that year.
Belichick, and how many
They made the
games? What they
playoffs.
win? 9,
Yeah,
9, 10 games.
I believe so.
I just think, and then Zach Wilson is 5th.
That is
He's
Don't-
cooked.
And that
Yeah.
was our guy, Dibs. We were advocates.
This is, where I throw in Davis Mills.
Be honest.
I always Davis Mills you in this
I
conversation.
know, but he wasn't a first rounder.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
you would take him ahead of Zach Wilson,
I guess.
even if you throw Zach's mom in there too.
I take Trey 3rd because, quite frankly, the rest
Beautiful.
of them I could give a rip. I
Yeah,
don't think
okay.
the rest of them aren't.
I was telling Evan and Goo before we came in here. Yeah, and they were like, "No, you're out of your mind. That's obvious. It's obvious why you're filling in here instead of having a fullback shot." But I said if I was running an NFL
Funny
team,
coming from him.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
I would really discourage my scouts, anybody from saying we should take a quarterback number 1. Now, obviously there are exceptions, but you look at like Jameis. And Mariota's available now, or any quarterback like top 3. It's so fraught with danger, unless it's a guy like Burrow or somebody who like it's Peyton Manning. Other than that, it's like we could probably get somebody as good if we trade down or we pick another position. Because if you miss on that, and we don't know enough about any of these guys because they're so young, it just sets you back for years.
No doubt.
It's really
But he
dangerous.
sounds afraid to live. That's how it goes.
I mean, okay.
Get
all
your
right, Goo.
feet wet.
All right, Goo.
Trust it. Will it translate?
If you're the Bears right now, what would you do?
Keep Justin Fields
Okay.
and use that pick on the weakest part of our team. I believe in what I saw from Justin Fields. That's just me. I thought he was really, truly done, react to new information. That dude was on a binge. That dude can keep the plays open. He looked like Ohio State. I was like, okay, dude, why would you go look at Bryce Young, who I'm rooting for? He is tiny. So he
So
gonna
is Brock Purdy.
He's unknown, is what he is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no matter
but
if he's
and
maybe
also
he'll
tiny.
be great.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you.
like that's scary.
I would keep Fields and trade the pick.
Well,
there's too
okay.
there's too many teams that need a quarterback.
Right,
To
right.
where you're like, look, you can
Need the hope
leverage,
of a quarterback.
leverage all of them against each other. If Bryce Young is that dude, I just tell, well, which one of you wants him? Because we have the first pick.
And like you said, there's a bunch of teams that need quarterbacks. The free agent quarterback market is not deep, which is why Jimmy Garoppolo is going
Where's
to get
he
that.
going?
He's going to get that bag though, because a team that can't go up and get the guy they want in the draft is going to go get Jimmy G. The thing that you said, Whitey, is interesting because if you look at the history of quarterbacks who win the Super Bowl, there's an equal number of first rounders and quarterbacks outside the first round.
Organizations get caught up and they think we need a quarterback, and this guy's a top pick. So it's just meant to be. You even see that sometimes with a basketball team that might need a center, and they have a high pick, and they're like, we need a center.
yeah.
So, and it ends
Speak
up,
on
it doesn't work
Kev.
out.
Yeah.
Same. It's
Well,
the
23 and
same.
7.
But there's
I'm
principles.
gonna call him
Stealing
Michael.
from you.
There's two types of teams that need a quarterback, though, right? There's the team that they think they're ready to win. They're a quarterback away, like Tampa was when they got Tom a few years ago.
Man.
Or you're the Houston Texans, Like, why would Houston go get a Garoppolo or a Derek Carr? Because that's going to look awful. You might as well get a young guy and everybody grow together.
Yeah.
The Raiders, for example, much different. That is a squad that feels like enter Aaron Rodgers,
Lamar Jackson,
and we can compete right now. So Garoppolo, to me, Carr, these guys go to one of those teams that feel like we're a quarterback away. I think the Saints feel that about themselves. I don't know if they're right.
No, I don't know, but Dibs, to the point you just made, very few teams have won Super Bowls with that type of quarterback, if I'm not mistaken, where they go out and get the veteran and plug him in, and he's not someone you drafted. I mean, Tampa Bay,
historically,
Brad Johnson
would be a guy.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay with Tom Brady.
Brad Johnson.
Yeah. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But that's the way the business is, though, Whitey. It's you watch these guys on Saturday.
Yeah.
You foam at the mouth and think that it can translate. And when you do it right and get a quote-unquote Peyton Manning or a bona fide star and they fail, I feel like you get a pass, from the fans because they all saw it and fell in love what they thought was going to be the next. But to ignore the next and go pay less shopping, go to the I'm trying to think of Thrifties.
But the next might be a fool's errand.
Might be Ryan Leaf.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jamarcus
but then Troy
Russell.
Aikman.
If you look at the history of like first round drafted quarterbacks, top end in the draft quarterbacks, there's as many misses as there are hits. And that's where it becomes a fool's errand.
My mind is also
fool's
on
errand.
What you just I think there are more of those than Stafford to the Rams was one of those.
Oh, you're talking about the guys
just grab a veteran, win a Super Bowl. Peyton Manning to Denver was that.
That's
even though by the time they won, he was not good.
Wasn't very good.
No, I know, but I feel like
Jerry Jones in the building.
Gosh, how many teams right now? Obviously, there's the Patriots and the Chiefs. So good. The Seahawks, the Patriots, the Chiefs are the teams in recent years that have won with their drafted QBs.
Yeah.
Right? But who else? I mean, the Eagles, that was a weird one. But
but Brady was not one of these. We need a quarterback bad first round picks, and I know that, and that's where I think for this conversation,
neither was Russell Wilson.
The history of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks is littered with guys who were high draft picks who didn't do squadoosh.
Then the other side of it is you look how long, as we all know, how long Patrick Mahomes lasted in the draft. So many, was it 19?
Niners could have had him.
I don't think so. Yeah, we'll take Trubisky.
They could have had Watson. So. Well, Watson now, but they had Patty.
Yeah,
well, and a lot of this, too, is the teams that tend to draft high in the draft are bad teams. Bad teams tend to be bad organizations that make bad decisions.
Yeah,
Look at Chicago. You mentioned Mitch Trubisky. Chicago hasn't had a quarterback worth a damn since the punky QB known as McMahon.
And even that was,
he was a one-hit wonder.
But he was
the defense.
The team was built on sweetness. You're right. Sweetness in the defense.
That's where you have to give credit to Cincinnati. Because they, as far as we knew as an organization, they couldn't get out of their own way. And it looks like, wow, they got it right.
Exactly.
They've been to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
And I mean, Buffalo, it has Jim Kelly, and you go from Jim Kelly, and now you've got another quarterback, Josh Allen.
Isn't Firebaugh near where? Isn't that near Lorenzo Neal country?
It's between here and there. He claims him. He claims him. Anything.
I mean, it's close.
Fresno.
Once you get over the hill from Livermore, Low Neal claims it all.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and Low grew up in the Moo.
Yeah, I know.
Lemoore, also known as the Moo.
Fireball's just a sign, though. No one's ever actually been there. If you drive Highway 5, you see the sign.
I did, Reese. That's why I bring it. You're
Fireball,
right.
and there's an arrow.
Fireball is
it's over there.
I think there's actually a question mark.
Yeah, like maybe I got gas once upon a time on that exit, but I didn't go to the high school. It's miles away.
Fireball is a cinnamon liqueur, which is
I love it.
Oh,
Steiny got
Fireball.
Back to Wiseman.
Exactly.
Yeah, real quick about Wiseman.
Let's talk.
I'm seeing some frowns or what I.
If you say 23-7 again, I'm leaving.
The whole thing is we acted like this guy was in a straitjacket, that he couldn't even put the ball in the bucket. It got so bad for James, and rightfully so. He was his worst enemy. But this Warrior regime, let's put the rat on the table.
First rat.
It's not a rest haven for young players. This is the wrong spot. So now when you see James playing basically AAU, pick up basketball like a whole bunch of other teams, I see him go coast to coast, and I'm just like, he's playing free. That's all. I'm not saying the Warriors, man, but you're looking now at like, Why couldn't Why couldn't he be free here?
But you know the answer to
Because
that.
Mike Singletary, I want winners. And he's 0-4, by the way, with Detroit.
Everybody's 0-4 with Detroit.
Right.
But we can't just, like, if it gets 30-17, we got to get away from, it's Detroit.
You touched on the
kids
key
just
to the whole
balling.
thing that nobody, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
I think, to me, you touched on the key to the whole Wiseman Warrior thing
Tease it.
that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
And we will.
But they
coming up.
never needed that component. Hey, they never needed that component. They never needed the youngsters.
Look, this is, you want a rat on the table. This
Second
is,
rat.
I mean, no, it's an extension of the first rat.
No.
We're going to pull the tail a
I've
little bit
never
longer.
got a sponsor.
And
I'll
bonus
never
rat.
know.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
either.
done.
I mean, we got so many pest control agents. Seriously.
Double rat out.
Thank you.
The veterans on the Warriors want other veterans on the floor.
All right.
So, it's a timing thing. Could the Warriors have gotten 23-7 out of Wiseman if they wanted to go out and lose? Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a basketball floor. They could have let him go out there and put in 23 points and 7 boards and lost by 11 to Charlotte if they wanted to do that. They obviously don't want to do that now. So the next question people ask is, well, if you can't have, as you said, young players here, well, then why did you draft him in the first place?
That's the whole thing.
Here's your answer.
You know what that
Give
is
it
right
to me.
there.
They didn't think they were going to win last year.
Yeah.
I think that's that, and
They didn't think they were going
thought-
to win anymore.
They
You got
thought these guys
Steiny's
were
face
better.
on your head. I'm looking at Steiny's
They
face on
didn't
Willard.
think they were going to win anymore,
You think?
and then they did. And Steph, Clay, and Dre ended up with renewed power in the room.
Yeah.
But they also thought these guys were better. Moses Moody.
That's
I
true,
like
too.
Moses Moody a lot. I hope he has a great
wow,
career.
we're gonna have
Tell
a
me
great show.
one thing right now Moses Moody does well as an NBA player.
You know what that is, right?
Gets dressed.
That's the rat on the table.
Yeah, and I
Brought to you
hope
by
it was. And that's
Termite
the
Control.
people come after
Trying to get
Steve.
it sponsored.
He hasn't developed Moses Moody. He's
Thank
playing
you.
the two-way guys. The two-way guys are playing well. Moses Moody is kind of a tweener. He doesn't handle well. He's not shooting well. He's not very quick on the perimeter.
He was before.
And
he was
he
shooting
played in
well
the Western
last
Conference
year.
Finals
He was at
last year.
times.
Willard,
I don't know why
they
he
needed
can't-
him
yeah.
in Dallas.
Yeah,
against Dallas.
He lost his confidence.
And that's everything in
And
the
I don't-
world.
yeah. Oh, God, yeah. I don't know why. I don't know if that's the Warriors' fault or his fault.
Did you
or-
lose confidence in this? It's whatever you're doing. I lost it in the bedroom, the blue chew.
Oh.
I'm just.
All right. We got to.
No. You can't. No. This is
Willard,
great.
what happened? I
And-
need somebody to
shoot it.
to.
Seriously.
Hi, my name's Daryl the Guru Johnson.
What's going on?
Now, is that coaching? Is that coaching, or is that on you
Willard,
when
what happened?
you lost
Somebody
your
to talk
confidence?
to.
Well, I mean, honestly, if
Yeah,
he's not
my
getting the
bad.
minutes, if he's not getting the touches,
Right.
if he's not getting the
Oh,
touches
boy.
and he's not getting the minutes,
Yeah.
you weren't here.
I'm looking
why?
at Willard like he's my
for
therapist.
the
I'm
Blue
sorry.
Chew era. Guru, he used to sponsor Blue Chew,
Just chewing
and it
it
was
out.
the single best. It was the single best endorsement in
Willard, I
95.7
apologize. Why do I
history.
apologize? That's what I
No, I just want.
Some triggered me.
Just chew it and do it.
I
That
need
was the
somebody to talk
tagline.
to. Yeah.
So are you
chew it and
still?
do it.
So you're still in that?
No, the confidence.
How'd you find your way out? Tell Moses Moody.
One step at a time.
I mean, if he wasn't getting the touches
Willard,
and he
I
wasn't getting the
apologize.
I know
minutes,
the answer to that
I think you
question.
got to take it
good.
inside where you're not hitting the long ball.
That's not fair.
if you're not scoring from 3-point range,
you got to take it inside.
Yeah,
dude.
seriously.
Yeah.
you got to get those paint points. Marketing
Willard,
it
my
ahead.
bad.
No, this is great.
I just opened up to him. Like, what are you doing?
We're just
Man.
getting started.
yeah, seriously.
I have that effect on people.
All that and more coming up.
Yeah.
That's what happens when Whitey teases something. Guru immediately goes to the bedroom. That's how it goes.
Yeah. If I could, I'd turn red. Yeah.
Totally. It kind of pales in comparison to mine. I was hoping to
Wow.
get a Terminex sponsorship, but we're back to Blue Chew. So there you go.
Well, you guys you want the microphones now? You can just take them now. I mean, it's just like, we could do awkward silence for 6 more minutes if you want.
Wait,
but,
segue of the year by you talking to the guy from, and I hope everything works out well for him, Danny in Portland. And
Oh,
you guys
right.
were talking
Yeah,
about Dibs' son, and I was a heart-warming story.
Yeah.
And
Missed
then
that.
you say, I hope you're not going to cry. And he says, well, I got a massive surgery coming up. I'm saving my tears for that.
By the
so
way-
you've got like, a second maybe to say something. You go, well, I hope you're okay. We're hoping the Warriors perform surgery on the Blazers tonight.
Thank
It was
you.
really good.
Thank you.
really good.
Jay-Z.
Well, listen, you have to be ready for people to say stuff that you don't think they're going to say. That was actually a low key, and I've had 100 of these in my radio career. I'm sure you guys have too.
But I mean, massive,
I know.
massive surgery.
Massive surgery. Yeah.
It was very akin to
gotta
when you
go
ask
back.
your grandma how she's doing, and then she tells you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
like, that's not where we're going
Right,
here.
right.
You're on to talk about the Warriors and the
yeah,
Blazers,
yeah.
not about the fact that you're going to be getting anesthesia in 6 hours. Like, it got really weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did this once upon a
very
time.
well played.
I won't tell you which former 49er, but I used to play a game at the end of interviews.
Why won't you tell us?
Well, because
It's Tully Bentacane.
No, yeah, exactly.
His name rhymes with Andy
That's a
Ross. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
His name rhymes with downtown. Anyway, so I used to play a game at the end of the interviews and try to just do like totally off the map. Let's have some fun, ask some funny, weird questions. And I asked this player, I go, what was the best dish that mom used to make? And no joke, this guy looks at me and goes, see, now, you should have done your research to know that my mom is dead. I'm like, my man.
Yeah, want to get away, mom.
He's like, right. He goes, I was raised by my grandma. I'm like, so tell me what dish grandma used
Yeah,
to
you
make.
didn't ask me that.
Why are you?
You didn't ask me
Why
that.
did you
Mark.
just
Right.
pin me against
My
the
heart was in the
corner?
right place,
I didn't
right?
do anything
Who's that
wrong.
on, Dibs? Who's that really on?
Well, as a man who has stepped in it for not
finger.
doing his own research,
Yeah,
that's on
yeah.
you,
Didn't
Mark
have to
Willard.
know.
Yeah.
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 I mean, that's unfortunate.
See,
all
no,
that.
I'm
don't
still
have one
mad
of
at my
those.
man who's like, I only got 4 fingers.
Roger Canepa.
Brother, Roger, you didn't need
That's
to
a
take it there.
classic.
You didn't need to do that.
It's on me for not knowing that he only had 4 fingers when I asked him if he's
But-
going to win one for the thumb.
Right, but one for the thumb is not a literal comment, so he didn't need to take it that way. It's not literal. It just means you're going to win a 5th.
Dibs opened the door for it.
Again, asking Mr. Downtown, who I happen to know, by the way, now that you mention
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love this man.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he
Why?
could
I
have
wish
played
they'd tell
along,
us.
but you didn't ask him about, hey, your child rearing adult, and you asked him about
That's
his
a lame
mom.
question. Like child rearing. I mean, like.
But you asked me about
He
my
said,
mama.
lame.
Yeah, it's a bad beat.
Wow, he
It's
just
a bad
thought,
beat.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fair question, and I got hit upside the head for no
Did
reason.
you feel the need? So it was the end of the interview, right?
Very
So
end.
did you feel the need to,
The end of his
hey,
career.
man, I'm sorry, or
Did you get Granny's favorite?
Did you ask him how she passed?
I
right?
think I blacked out. I don't even know what happened with the rest of the interview. We soldiered on.
Yeah.
I didn't end the interview, but I don't think I apologized either. Maybe like
Yeah.
that surf. Oh, I'm,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, geez, sorry. Right.
Yeah, geez.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too soon?
Was the funeral yesterday?
Yeah,
it was
man,
like
that's rough.
48 years ago.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Yeah.
I don't know.
unfortunate. It's gonna happen.
That's a bad
right.
beat right there.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
That's pretty.
All right.
Okay. You guys want to do your show now?
Yeah.
We gonna try.
All right. Here
Just
comes,
chew it and do
here
it.
comes White. By the way, what's Steiny up to right now?
I'll tell you off the air.
Wrong answers.
Well, a
only.
little under the weather.
Yeah.
is he
I got
underwear?
official
He's downtown.
confirmation.
Yeah,
so,
because I'm getting
Kyle's great. He's downtown.
I'm getting texts from him during the show. So I'm like, he's not that,
Oh.
he's not.
He didn't clear me. HIPAA
But you-
laws indicate that I can't say
Okay.
on the air what it is,
right.
but I'll tell you off the air.
All right, sounds good.
All
right.
Here comes Whitey and Guru on 95.7
You're now
again.
free to move about the country.